Welcome to another Read It or Unholy Reading Challenge. I'm not going to sleep tonight. This is a DNF. We are going to this chocolate bar. Everything is blooming in Boston. Let's just finally get to reorganizing my bookshelf. I don't know, what's the lesson there? Because it was boring. Welcome guys to New York City. I'm sick. I look like a raccoon. Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to another Read It or Unholy Reading Challenge / reading vlog. This will be a big one, okay? I just want to tell you that in advance so you know how to prepare yourselves, because this will be the biggest, longest, greatest TBR takedown that I've ever filmed for my channel. I am planning to run this project throughout the entirety of spring, and we will read as many books as we can from my little TBR cart that is basically falling apart at this stage because it is holding so many books. I don't know exactly how many, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, we will count it together, but I think it's like easily around 100 books. And if you want to know how I ended up in this situation, well, I want to know the answer to that actually as well myself, but I think it's because of two reasons. Basically, one is that I just cannot stop buying books, but it's just one reason. The second reason is all the new releases, because I have insane amount of new releases on this card. You guys know that I read a lot of new releases because I talk about new releases on my channel all the time, and I am usually up to date when it comes to these books, but for some reason not in 2025. So far the only new release that I read was The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis, right? All the other ones I pre-ordered them, I unboxed them, I put them on the card, but I just never read them, and that is something that we need to rectify, and that is what we're going to do in today's video. But we will not only be reading new releases, because I also have a lot of backlist books on my TBR card, and some of these are very spring coded and I do want to read them this season. So I think what we will do first is to remove all the books from the cart that I am super interested in, and we will continue the video from there. Okay, I think I will take these two books down and set them aside just for a second because I don't want them to fall on my head. And first, let's remove all the different new releases that I have here and I am super interested to read. I don't know how it's possible, but I still have not yet read the newest Grady Hendrix release, which is just insane. I mean, I adore this author, so I don't know why I haven't gotten around that book. But the same goes really for Babylonia, because also I really want to read this book. I am like super interested in that book. I think the other new releases that I cannot wait to get to, one of them is definitely Green Teeth. I mean, can we just look at the cover of that book? This is easily the best covers that I've seen for a very long time. So this is getting on my to be read pile, or getting in my to be read pile. Also, we have The Unworthy, which is by Agustina Basterica, and I freaking adore this author. Like, Tender is the Flesh from her is one of the best fiction books that I've ever read in my life. I was head over heels that book, okay? So I cannot wait to get to that book. That was a pre-order. Oh, and I also have like two new releases that technically I am already reading, and one of them is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, and I will talk about this book in just a second. First, I just want to gather all the books that I am interested in. And also we have a non-fiction, it's kind of like a self-help book. This is also a new release and I am already reading it. This is the Let Them Theory, and I think the author is Mel Robbins, kind of almost the same. So those are the new releases that I am super interested in. What else do we have here that I really want to read? Ah! How did I forget about this book? The Earl Crush. this was also like kind of like a cover by me, guys. I'm not going to deny that. And also I want to read a historical romance because so far this year I have not really been successful with historical romances, so that is definitely on my list. And I think that as far as new releases go, I think that these are all the new releases that I have and I want to prioritize. But now let's go through the other books and select the backlist books that I am super interested in. And I can tell you that the first one is this, We Used to Live Here. I have such high expectations when it comes to this book because everybody I follow on booktube, they were head over heels that book, okay? So I definitely want to read it. The two other books that I am super interested in, one of them is definitely Tress of the Emerald Sea. This has been on my TBR for, dare I say, more than a year now, so this is something that I have to read. And also this one, this is not a very popular book. I actually haven't seen anybody on booktube talking about it, but I am really interested in this one. This is supposed to be a romance book, and I was gonna say it's a contemporary romance book, but maybe it's more like the historical kind of romances because it takes place in Golden Era Hollywood, which is basically the 1930s, right? And it is between an actor and an actress, and I don't really see romance books like this that are taking place in Golden Era Hollywood, so this is something that is also on my list. What else? What else? I think also these two. Oh my god, there are so many books that I am interested in. But the other one that we are definitely reading because I am in the mood to read some Jane Austen. And come on, Persuasion. And this beautiful book, this is super spring coated, and this is something that we are reading because I cannot buy another Jane Austen book until I read the one that I have, so this is definitely getting on my TBR. What else? I am also super interested actually to read Year of Wonders by Geraldine Brooks. So many of you guys commented on some of my other videos saying that this is actually a fantastic book that I should read, so this is definitely something that I'm planning to do. With all honesty, I am also like super interested in Anne of Green Gables, but I think that as far as classics go, I really want to focus on Persuasion, so I think that that is something that I will be focusing on. So just for now, Anne of Green Gables is not a contender, at least I don't think so. I also have these two other books that I am super interested in, and I want to put them on my TBR pile because I think that I will get to them. One of them is Everyone in This Room Someday Will Be Dead. I read the synopsis of this book and I was like, this is exactly what I need in my life. I am putting this on my pile. And I also want to put here a short story collection because sometimes, you know, because I talk about it all the time, that sometimes when I just struggle to focus or I'm tired or I'm anxious, I cannot necessarily read like an entire book. So I got a short story collection, and that is Tombs Weeping. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys that this was also partially a cover by, okay? I just want to be honest about it, but I love short story collections, so I think that this is something that I want to put there. I want to put on my pile as kind of like to try reading them. I don't know, I'm looking at my non-fictions, and right now I am not really vibing with anything, so I think that as far as non-fiction goes, it will be just the Let Them theory that I actually leave in that pile of books. And now, my god, what should be the next book that I read? Oh, Rewitched. How did I forget about Rewitched? I mean, I was gonna say that this is a new release, but it's not really a new release because it came out last year, October, so it's not really a new release, but this is also something that I really want to read, and again has been on my TBR and on my radar in general for a very long time. The other books that I have here that I really want to read, one of them is The Bees. I talked about this book in my book haul video, and also Lavinia, because I think that so far the only historical stuff that I have on my TBR is Babylonia, and that's not going to satisfy me solely, okay? I will need another book that is kind of like historical, so I think it will be Lavinia. What else do I have here? These are like Christmas books. I also have The Bear and the Nightingale, but that's kind of like a wintry book for me, so I think I will leave it for now. I also have Legendborn, you guys, and I know that the third book, that's the newest release in the series, that also came out and everybody was like head over heels, so maybe it is time to start that series. I also have another historical romance because I kind of feel like that I want to put another historical romance on my list just in case, you know, I don't like a crush. So I think I will choose this one, The Perks of Loving a Scoundrel, because this has also been on my TBR for a very long time. And these ones are kind of like summer coated books, so I think, oh my god, I've removed so many books and this card is like still so heavy and still falling apart. Jesus Christ. But I think that all these other books are more like summer coated, or books that right now I am not vibing with. But we know that that basically doesn't mean anything, okay? So I don't know what to say. I think that we will be focusing on these ones, but of course I have all these other books to choose from, pick from, if I am unhappy with these ones. Wow. I basically removed half of my TBR cart, almost all of my TBR cart. Like, what was the point in this? What was the point in removing the books from the cart? Sometimes I don't make any sense. Let me just move this cart back here so we have a little bit more space and a little bit more light, because I do want to mention, you guys, the two books that I am already reading, and that is basically the Let Them Theory and Onyx Storm. I am super early into this book. I think that I am kind of like on chapter 2, page 33, and I was super interested in this book. I think that this was also a pre-order for me. You guys know that I love reading non-fictions, and I love reading self-help books as well. I always say that you gotta be very careful with the self-help books that you read. You know, keep that in mind, but I like reading them. Now, with this one particularly, I don't really know what to say, because again, I've only read 33 pages, and so far what I can tell is that this book is not like patronizing, condescending, or pretentious, which I like, because again, when it comes to self-help books, like again, I just keep repeating myself, but you gotta be very careful with them. But so far this is fine, but also it's not life-changing. I don't know exactly what the author is planning to do for the rest of the book, but so far nothing I've read in this book is life-changing. But once I finish this book, obviously I will come back and report to you guys. You guys know that I read non-fiction very slowly, so I think that I will finish this book kind of like by the end of the vlog. But the other book that I'm reading, and probably I will finish this pretty soon, I guess, though I'm not super sure about that, but that is Onyx Storm. We all know, because this is insanely famous, this is the third book now in the Empyrean romantasy series by Rebecca Yarros. And I want to be honest with you guys, I did not plan on reading this book. I did not even plan on buying this book. I loved Fourth Wing. I was actually one of those people who really liked Fourth Wing. And even when it came to Iron Flame, I was okay with that book. I know that that book got a lot of hate, and I see why. I actually genuinely see why. But I was just like okay with it. It was average. It was meh. Like, you know, sometimes it happens, especially when it's like a second book in the series. But I was not enamored with the series, and I decided to wait until all 5 books are published, and then I would read the series, like, you know, as a whole. But the problem is that now the author is taking a break from writing, and I think it will be a long break, like 2 or 3 years. I think that's what I heard. That was like an interview that she did. And then I realized that if in like 3 years I try to buy this book, this beautiful edition, because can we look at those sprayed edges? I mean, come on. Anyways, I will probably won't get the chance to buy this one, and then my series, yeah, I know, right? And then the series will not add up, will not match up. And if I told this to any other person in my life, in my personal life, everybody would be looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Like, who cares? Like, these are your problems, you know. But I know that I can come here, sit here and explain this to you guys, because you guys will understand. You bookish people out there will understand that I want the books in the series to match. Anyways, long story short, I bought this book, but I was not planning on reading it. And then at work, 2 of my colleagues were reading this book, and they were raving about this book, and they really put me in the mood. And I was like, okay, what, you know, girlies and boysies, I'm just gonna pick up this book and read it, because in general people have a good opinion about this book. Like, they say that it is better than Iron Flame, and I'm kind of like in 50% in this book. I also have the audiobook from Libby, and it's okay. Like, you know, it's not a life-changing romantasy book. I think that Fourth Thing was the best, and then the second and the third book is kind of like but it is happening. It's okay. So far, I think that it is much better than Iron Flame, but it is still not life-changing. And that's all basically I can say about this book. Once I finish these 2, of course, I'm gonna pop back in and I will tell you all my thoughts. And now select the books, should select the books that I will be reading next. Oh my god, I think that we will continue with this one, because I am just so super intrigued when it comes to this book. So this will be next. I think this will be one of them. Also Rewitched, because I'm kinda in the witchy mood. What else? Ooh, also The Unworthy, that is like super high on my priority list. What else? I kind of also really want to read Earl Crush. That's definitely high priority. I mean, to be fair, all of these are high priority, because I also want to read It Happened One Fight. I also want to read Everyone in This Room Will Be One Day Dead. Oh, I also want to read Babylonia. What am I doing? I think that it will be these 4 for now. We will continue with these 4, and then when I am done with these, I will pop back in, give you an update, and we continue with all the other books. And can you tell already that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing? Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next clip. I am flying through this book. Just look at that. Look at that. That is the chunk that I basically read in one day. And I only stopped because it was like a couple of chapters ago when I read a super scary scene, the attic scene. If you read this book, if you read this book, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I must say that this book is, by the way, not like scary. I mean, so far it hasn't been that scary, but this scene, oh my god, this like really got me. And now I am close to midnight. It is around midnight, and now I have a choice to make whether I keep reading this book, because with all honesty, like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. Okay, that is just not a possibility. So I might as well just keep reading this book, or I stop. But it doesn't matter, because just like I said, I'm not going to sleep tonight, and I really want to know, because I feel like that the second part of the book is really picking up and it's getting more and more unhinged, and I really want to know what's happening. I really want to know what's happening. So I think I will like finish this book today, which basically means that I will read this book in like one day. Wow. Just wow. I am popping in, guys, to announce slight change in plans. Well, welcome to the vlog, welcome to my channel. If you've been around for a while, then you know exactly how these things work around here. But anyways, I finished the book, We Used to Live Here. But guys, that book is so freaky. Oh my god, it totally freaked me out. And I haven't really slept well for like 3 days, 3 nights now. Maybe just like 1 hour per night, which is needless to say that it's not enough. But the moment I like turn off the lights, like that stupid attic scene, guys, that really got to me, and I just like see things in my bedroom, just like terrible. So I cannot sleep. But I cannot fully blame the book, because it's not just about the book, because before reading the book, and that's why I picked up the book, to be honest with you, because I was kind of like in a little bit in darker mood, and I watched a lot of videos from Amy Script, for example, and I don't know why, but after finishing the book, I decided to a couple of documentaries like about Ted Bundy and also Jack the Ripper. Like, why did I decide to do that to myself? I have no idea. But I'm like in general really freaked out right now. So what my brain needs is basically a brain wash. I need to read books that will just blank my brain, okay? And I decided that the best books for that, those are the Barbarian books, like, you know, that Barbarian alien sci-fi romance books by Ruby Dixon. And I have one of them physically, and that is Barbarians Touch. And also on Audible, if you have premium Audible membership, then those books, not all of them, but most of the books, because it's like a 21 book series, they are all for free, technically. So I think I will also, like, I will read this one, but I will also listen to a couple of other Barbarians books, and hopefully, hopefully I will calm down. I will be able to sleep, and my brain after that will be able to form coherent thoughts, and I will be able to like review the book We Used to Live Here and also like the different Barbarian books, and I will be able to continue the other books that I was planning to pick up in this vlog. There you go. We are continuing with the Barbarians. And then in the next clip, hopefully, as a well-rested Zsuzsi, I will be able to tell you my final thoughts about We Used to Live Here. But oh my god. Guys, we have so many books to review and so much to discuss, because I finished this book. I also finished Onyx Storm. I also DNF Rewitched, and at this stage I cannot even tell you how many different Barbarian books I've read. So let's just go in order, and first let's discuss We Used to Live Here, because this is the first one technically that I finished in today's video. And I will be very careful with what I say in this review, because I definitely do not want to spoil this book for you if you are planning to read it, if you haven't already done so, because again, this was the rage back in 2024. And if you have read this book, could you please let me know in the comments below, because I have a couple of questions, okay? Now, anyways, let's just quickly discuss the plot of the book, because I realized that I never really told you about the plot of this book. But basically, we have a couple, Eve and Charlie, who are flipping houses. That's what they do for a living. And they got this like older type of house for very good money. They moved in, and now they are in the middle of renovating this house, right? And Eve is at home, Charlie is off doing her business, whatever, and then a stranger, not a stranger, like a stranger family shows up at the door, and then Eve is like, what the hell happening? And then the father in the family is like, I grew up here, and these are my kids, 2 boys and 1 girl, and also this is my wife. Can we please come in? I just want to show you again where I grew up. And Eve's like, I'm not sure, like I really don't want that. Eve is not a people's person, right? But then she relents and she's like, okay, come in. And then things unfold from there. And Eve is definitely a very anxious character. She is very paranoid. She has an incredibly noisy brain, and I believe that the noise in her brain also has a name. I just don't remember it anyways. And she is definitely put to the test in this book because something is wrong with these people, and you as the reader, you know that something is wrong with these people, and you also know that something is wrong with the house. And I felt like that the reader actually knew that, and we suspected something way before Eve started realizing things. And this book is a very high-paced book and also got like great tension, and you as the reader feel that even before Eve gets to realizing certain things. Now, is this a scary book? Because objectively speaking, I don't think that this is a scary book. Now, hear me out here. I don't know, maybe you've experienced something like this before. If you have, again, definitely please let me know in the comments below, because I don't even know where my thoughts are and how I feel about this book. Anyway, so objectively speaking, I don't think that this is a scary book, because I've read many other horror books that were really scary, and I was freaked out reading those books and couldn't sleep reading those books. But this book gave me a little bit of a different experience, because I didn't feel freaked out throughout the entirety of the book, but there were these incredibly creepy scenes that are now stuck in my head and I cannot get them out, and they are super scary. And I kind of feel that maybe that's what the author intended, that while there was definitely a lot of tension in this book, the creepiness was kind of like sporadic, so maybe it just like sticks in your head. Like, I don't know, does this make any sense what I'm saying? I'm not sure, but I think that when it comes to the design of the book, I think that the author did a top-notch job. There were a lot of these creepy scenes in the book, and I think that they were definitely like in the first half of the book, and I was like, oh, you know, what's happening? And then the second half of the book, that's when it all goes bonkers, basically. Now, I believe that there will be a sequel to this book. The author said that he is definitely interested in writing a sequel, and I guess, like, you know, it depends on the success of the book and also the success of the movie that is coming up. Apparently, I'm not sure anymore, whatever, because it was supposed to be Blake Lively, who, I think she was supposed to be Eve, not Charlie, but whatever, I don't have all the information. And if you read this book, I think that, again, the author definitely set up certain things for the sequel. There are characters in this book, and there are certain like subplots happening, and again, characters involved who had absolutely no role in the bigger plot, in the bigger scheme of things, which is very surprising to me. So I personally feel that there will be a sequel. If that's not true and this is just a standalone, I'm happy with that, because with all honesty, I am like super happy with the ending. I was very satisfied when I finished this book. But if there is a sequel, I am definitely picking it up. It's a win. It's a very unique horror. I'm just gonna put it out there, and I can highly recommend. The hype in the case of this book, it's definitely warranted. I recommend. Now, do I recommend Onyx Storm, the other hyped book in this reading vlog? Now, that's a good question. I really don't know what else to say other than what I already said in the introduction to this vlog. I think that this book was much better than Iron Flame, because I feel like that we got a little bit of world building that I was kind of craving. Because when it comes to this Imperium world, fantasy world, I don't really get everything, and I don't know if it's intentional or not. Anyways, we got more world building. The characters were more mature, I would say. They were definitely less childish than in Iron Flame. And also the miscommunication that I really didn't like in Iron Flame. I think we didn't get any of that in Onyx Storm. So objectively speaking, I think that this was much better than Iron Flame, but not as good as Fourth Wing. So that's all I can say when it comes to me recommending this book or recommending the entire series, though this is so incredibly famous that probably everybody already read, like, you know, the Fourth Wing series. I don't know what to say. I feel personally that there are better fantasy romances out there, but hey, this is also not the worst fantasy romance that I ever read in my life. And now that Rebecca Yarros is taking off a couple of years, hopefully when she comes back, then we will, like, you know, wrap up this series and then move on with our lives. Now, these were the two new releases and kind of like hyped books. And I also picked up after these and between two Barbarian books that I will talk about in just a second, I tried to read Rewitched, and this is a DNF, guys. This is so disappointing to me because I had such high hopes when it comes to this book. One, because of the cover, absolutely, definitely because of the cover, but also because, like, I love witchy books, but cozy fantasy, it's just, I feel like it doesn't work for me. This book, if you wanted me to describe this book in like 2 words, all I can say is that it is painfully dull. That's how I would describe this book. I DNF'd it. Wait, let me just, yeah, chapter 8. So I cannot say that I read like a lot of this book, but I just couldn't get into it. I didn't care. Nothing was happening. I was so bored out of my mind. It's insane. And maybe, I am considering, and that's why I'm saying maybe, I will pick this book up in October, because when it comes to like the witch in this book and the vibes, like everything is taking place in fall, and also like the main character Belle in this book, she got like a cape and a witch hat, you know, so like maybe I would like get in the mood in October, but that doesn't change anything about the fact that this book is so insanely boring, and I can barely tell you what this book is about, because all I know is that we have this girl witch, Belle, who works at a bookstore, but she is insanely burnt out, and now she doesn't really know her magic, but she has to fight for her magic in like this like magical tournament kind of thingy. And this book is supposed to be about self-discovery and personal growth and all that, which sounds amazing, but I am just not getting that, because I'm just like yawning reading this book. But I don't know, if you guys read this book, could you please let me know whether I should like soft DNF it, hard DNF it, should I try it in October or like in general in the fall, should I not? I have no idea. Maybe I just have to accept that cozy fantasy doesn't really work with me and then just move on with my life, you know? Now, after reading the horror book, you guys know that I needed a little bit of reset, right? A little bit of escapism. So I picked up a couple of Barbarian books by Ruby Dixon, and I think I read like 4 maybe, or 3. Let me just quickly look it up on Goodreads, because I have no idea, because all of these Barbarian books are basically just like one thing in my mind. I definitely read this one, Barbarians Touch, and then I also read 2 others, because these audiobooks were available in Audible. If you have premium Audible membership, then again these books are like there, and one of them was Barbarians Lady, and the other one was Barbarians Heart, and also Barbarians Beloved. Okay, so total I had 4 Barbarian books, and now I can finally sleep. So you know what? It was worth it. And I'm not gonna describe the 4 different books for you guys, because quite honestly it's like all the same plot. It's a sci-fi romance, it's alien smut. It's about a group of human women who get abducted by aliens, and then those aliens, the ship of those aliens crash on this ice planet, and then these big blue aliens rescue the women, and then we go on from there. Now I actually really like this series by Ruby Dixon, but the books are kind of like a hit and miss for me, because sometimes I really do not like how Ruby Dixon handles certain situations, and I find her very insensitive. And we discuss like throughout the series, because again it's like 19 or 20 books or something like that, and we have, just like I said, every single character deals with a different type of trauma, and in general we have like so many different characters in this book, and we are dealing with disability, we are dealing with infertility, we are dealing with as abuse, like there is a lot going on, and sometimes it is handled very well, and then there are other times when I'm like, oh my god, I don't even want to finish this book because it is so problematic. So I didn't read, like I think that these 4 were not super problematic. There were a couple of times when I was like, okay, I'm not sure that I agree with that, but that's okay. I think that slowly, surely I will finish this series one day. Honestly, it's like a perfect brainwash. Ooh, okay guys, now we're gonna go a little bit lighter in today's video, because we used to live here that basically traumatized me. Anyways, I have 2 romance new releases that I really want to read, and one of them is A Crush by Alexandra Vasti, and this is like a newer type of historical romance, but you guys know, because I've talked about this before, that I really want to support the genre and I really want to support new and upcoming authors. This is the 2nd book in this series, and I didn't read the first one. But the cover for this book, it totally got me. So we are reading this one. There is also a puppy on the cover. We are definitely reading this one. This is something that takes place in Scotland, and I believe that the trope is marriage of convenience or something like that. So this is something that's on my list. And also soon, well, it's not yet out, but soon the newest Emily Henry book is getting released. Great Big Beautiful World, Great Big Beautiful Life. Yeah, because it's about a memoir. It's about 2 writers who are competing to write, and then read the memoir of this lady who is a very famous, or who was a very famous socialite. So we'll see how that goes. I am excited, but Emily Henry is again a hit and miss for me, because I tend to like her books that nobody likes, and then I don't really like the books that everybody likes. Like I did not really like Book Lovers, and everybody was head over heels for it. So we'll see, but these are the 2 books that we will be reading, and when I am done I will pop back in and I'll give you my thoughts. And also I think that it is time for us to take this vlog outside, because it is spring in Boston, and you guys know that this is one of my favorite seasons in Boston. Well, I have 4 favorite seasons. This is one of them. Okay, so we're gonna go also outside and just enjoy the beautiful weather. So that's what we're gonna do next, and when I am done with the books I will pop back in and we will review them. I am going to have some brunch, guys, and you are coming with me. We are going to this chocolate bar slash like a chocolate coffee bar, I think. It is in the heart of Boston, and it's not a new thing. It's always been that, okay? So it's not a new thing. I just never really took the time to check it out. But today is the day. And after that, we also hit the road and enjoy some time in Boston, because today is a beautiful spring day. The season so far has been a little bit tough on us because we had a lot of like below 0 temperatures, but now everything is getting a little bit more sunny and a little bit warmer. So it is a perfect day outside and we need to enjoy it. Everything is blooming in Boston. The magnolia trees, we which are my favorite. Well, maybe the cherry blossom is my favorite and the tulips, but we also really love magnolia trees. So we will check them out. I will stalk them in today's video and we will take a picture of every single magnolia tree that is. That's the plan. Wow. Am I intriguing you? I hope so. Anyways, I'm gonna go grab my book and then we hit the road and we continue from there.
Day breaks and I'm burned by the morning light. I make the same mistake more than twice. Same song, but brand new dance. I wear out my third second chance. You take my breath and I can't get it back. Might be time for me to face the facts. The best me is with you, but I know I got a lot to prove. They think we're too damaged to fix, but we're just working through a little rust. They like to say we're just young, but I know we won't give this up. Sometimes I lose my mind, and some days it's hard to find the reason why you stay by my side. You and I break our hearts open enough just to see if we'll put them back, no matter what they try.
All right, I have some updating to do because I finished about a little bit less than 50% of this book, and I also DNF'd this book, Crush, which is a huge disappointment. But I finished another historical romance, and I just keep forgetting the title, The Perks of Loving a Scoundrel. And I also started the newest Emily Henry release. So let's just talk about these books now. Crush. Alright guys, I cannot even describe my disappointment when it comes to this book because I expected too much from this book. Clearly I am bored out of my mind, okay, and that is why I am DNFing this book. I don't know yet if it's like a soft DNF or a hard DNF because it breaks my heart. Like, look at that cover. The story, so boring, and there is absolutely no way because I finished on chapter 14. I just want to give you guys like the exact details. Yeah, chapter 14, and that's like 138 pages. So I have like more than 50% to go, and there is absolutely no way that I'm putting myself through this book. It is just boring. The premise of this book sounds so good, and it takes place in Scotland, so I thought I was going to adore it, but I am mistaken. I was mistaken. In this book, our heroine is an heiress and she is incredibly rich. She doesn't need to marry unless she wants to because she has the money, but she's exchanging letters with this Scottish earl who has absolutely no money, but they share the same ideas. They seem to get along very well. So our heiress decides, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna marry this guy. He needs the money, so he's going to take me. So she travels with her best friend to Scotland. And then it turns out that she was basically catfished because the guy she was exchanging these letters with, it's not the earl, it's not the Scottish earl, but the brother of this earl. And now they have to find the brother, whatever the story begins. And I couldn't connect with this book. I couldn't connect with the characters. And on top of all of that, I think it's just boring. I don't know what to do. For now, I feel like this is gonna be a hard DNF. There are some really good moments in this book that are genuinely funny, but so many moments that are dull. So this is not working for me, unfortunately. This is a DNF, along with Rewitched. And this is crazy. I don't know. What's the lesson there? Do not buy books based on their covers. Yeah, I know that, and I still keep doing it. Anyways, DNF. But the other book that I picked up and finished, that is The Perks of Loving a Scoundrel. And this is much better, but this is my first book by Jennifer McQuiston, and I don't think that this was a perfect book, but definitely was like better than Earl Crush. I think that these like older type historical romances, I think they just work better for me. I don't know, maybe I am just being too harsh on Crush. Anyways, and this book, I think it was really good, and I can recommend it. Our main character is Mary Channing, Miss Mary Channing, and she is a very bookish girl. She doesn't care for anything other than her books, and she's 26 years old, so she's kind of like a swingster in Victorian London, right? And she visits her sister, who is about to give birth. And one morning she goes to the rose garden because she just wants to be alone reading her little book very early in the morning, and then she catches a guy who is super drunk peeing on her rose bush, and surprise, surprise, that guy will be our hero. And I really like this book, not only because of the characters, but also because of the plot, because there was a little bit of mystery to this book, because basically the two characters start working together because there is possibly an assassination attempt against the Queen Victoria at the time. So I felt like there was good character development, there was good romance, and also there was a good plot. And again, after this book, it felt like a big plus. So it's good. It's not my favorite historical romance that I ever read in my life, but it was good, and I think I will pick up other books by Jennifer McQuiston. And now the Emily Henry book, Great Big Beautiful Life. All right, so I am in chapter 11, and this is a book that I'm actually listening to. I forgot to tell you guys that I am picking up the audiobook and not the physical copy, because the physical copy, being a new release, it's a hardback, and you guys know I don't like hardback books. I just don't understand why we need to do that, especially when it comes to contemporary romance or any kind of romance, even like the newest Abby Jimenez. That's also hardback. I just don't get it. Anyway, so I decided to pick up the audiobook that is narrated and directed by Julia Whelan, and she is, well, possibly my favorite audiobook narrator, and she does an excellent job. And that's something that I can obviously already tell, because Emily Henry is a fantastic writer, Julia Whelan is a fantastic narrator. I have absolutely no complaints there. But so far, again, I'm on chapter 11, and I think we have like 36 chapters, and I am a little bit bored. We have this socialite in the story. There are people out there who read the arc and they compare it to the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I think I'm starting to understand why. Because there is this socialite lady who is in her 80s and she wants to tell her story. And we have our 2 writers who are basically coming together and competing to write her story. And then, you know, this being a romance, we all know how this is going to end, but this is kind of like a typical rivals to lovers story involving this older lady. And I have 2 problems so far with the book, but again, I kind of like listen to 30% of it. One is that every time when we talk about the story of this socialite, her life, things are obviously like, you know, are not coming together just yet, but it kind of feels boring to me. I'm like, I don't understand why I am listening to this story. I don't feel any connection to her and her story. And as far as the romance goes, I feel like that we develop the romance very quickly. And, you know, again, these people are rivals, but they are also like super hot for each other. And I always struggle with that. I am somebody who likes slow burn romances and real connection. And that's not what's happening in this book, but that's not the book's fault. You know, I cannot criticize Emily Henry. I would not, and I cannot criticize Julie Whelan. Fantastic writing, fantastic narration. It's just kind of like the story that's a little bit boring to me. But I don't know, because, you know, I say the same thing about Crush, that it's a little bit dull, and maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I'm the problem, it's me, you know? Yeah. It's not going that well right now, but there is absolutely no chance that I am DNFing the Emily Henry book, because it stands out like all of her books, like truly stands out when we talk about contemporary romance. So it is definitely something that I am finishing, and I am finishing that book in the second part of this video, because I am dividing this vlog into 2 parts. But I'm not going to make you guys wait for it. I am uploading this vlog on a Friday, and then the second part is coming out on Sunday. I'm not gonna make you guys wait like a week for the second part. It is coming. I want to give this video 48 hours because usually that's how long you guys need to catch up with my videos. I am about to go outside and do my workout outside. I decided to go on a huge walk because the weather is beyond beautiful. But before I do that, I just wanted to pop in and say a huge thank you to you guys, because now officially my channel is 2 years old. I borderline cannot believe that. I cannot believe that I started this channel 2 years ago, because it feels like kinda that it was yesterday. But I've been creating videos for 2 years now, and we have been building this little community of ours for 2 years now. Just unbelievable. Anyways, again, I just wanted to pop in to say a big thank you. Thank you for your time that you invest into my videos, watching my videos, liking and commenting, and really just creating this little community with me. And as a special thank you, I decided to do a giveaway. And basically I decided to gift 2 audiobooks because my channel is 2 years old. So I am gifting 2 Audible credits, really, and on top of the credit also 1 month of Audible memberships to 2 people out there. I know that there are many people out there who disagree with Audible, especially considering what happened to Kindle and Kindle books in the past couple of weeks, but I am just really keen to keep this giveaway international, because I know when I look in YouTube analytics that I have people watching my videos from all over the world, and Audible is the best option. Is this something that I can gift internationally? And also I can give you not only a credit but also an entire month of reading. And with the premium membership that I am planning to gift, you can actually have access to a selection of books. And I have downloaded so many books from the Audible library. Almost all of the classics are available there, but also super famous fantasy romance books, like for example the very first book of Akotar is available there, Emma, Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights, a lot of different Brandon Sanderson book, like for example Warbreaker or The Bridge Kingdom by Daniel L. Jensen. Insane amount of different historical romances and historical fictions as well, a lot of different biographies. You will find a lot of books, a lot of T. Kingfisher books, Brian and Roses, for example, that are available, and you can just get all these books and listen to them for 1 month for free. So I personally feel like that this is a really great option, and I just want you guys to have the best option that is out there currently. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is to comment down below, tell me your name, where are you from, and just leave the world emoji, the globe emoji in the comments down below. That's all. And this giveaway will be open for 2 weeks, and after that I will close it. I will randomly select the 2 people, and then I can announce the winners. I will find you guys, I will comment on your post, and then I will be able to email the gift certificates and the gift codes to you guys. But once I have the winners, I will contact the winners, and then we will discuss all the details. How exciting is that? I am excited. I am excited because we are 2 years old, and I am also excited for this giveaways. Now I'm gonna go do my thing, and I'll see you guys in part 2. Now hit share, like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I have a lot of fun bookish videos coming up, and in the meantime, while you are waiting for part 2, you can check out any of my other videos that I will leave on the screen, probably here and here, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!